Hello, Buddhas. What if I told you that you are just a consciousness taking a walk through yourself? Now, Buddhas, before I explain what I mean, I have got a playlist down below with over 100 Buddha Billionaire videos that you can watch to accelerate your spiritual awakening. Now, you are a consciousness exploring yourself. And I am not a psychologist or doctor or kind of like scientist at this level quite yet. But we do know that there's a lot to do in our understanding of human intelligence with the subconscious and the conscience. Right now, it appears that I am using my conscious mind to create thoughts which turn into words so that I can send them to you through the medium of this camera and the internet, which, at a base level, is actually what's happening. But what if you, the listener, the watcher, are, just like me, the one presenting it, actually the understanding and the central point of a vast, shared subconscious. Now, I know this is a little bit wacky, and if you're hearing this for the first time, it can be a lot to take in, or not something that's fully understood. And I've been there, I'm still there. This is a process, Buddhas. This is not something that just clicks overnight. At least it hasn't been for me yet. But the more and more I start to think about it, and the more I start to research into things like Neville Goddard, reality transurfing, Abraham Hicks, these different views on the universe and these different things that all say the exact same story. You can even add the Bible and pretty much every other religious text from different organizations. They all end up saying this very similar thing, and that is talking about how our imagination creates our reality. And what I'm starting to believe, and I use the word belief very specifically here because a belief is something that's been affirmed to you through action, through the world, not just something that you think might be the case. I am starting to believe that this three-dimensional world that I'm inhabiting right now is the inside understanding of my conscious awareness. It is this avatar of Alex, who is the Buddha Billionaire, walking around, sharing his story, doing jobs, hanging out with friends, eating food. That entity, that person, exists, and the entire world exists and is real. None of this has to diminish that fact. But this understanding is more so about how I perceive what's going on. And it has been about a year in practice now where I have been really paying attention to signs and synchronicities. I have been really diving into these different philosophies and these different ways of seeing the universe. And the only unescapable truth is that I have been a central figure to all of it. And that is the case for all of you. You are the central figure in your universe. Whether you believe that yet or not, I promise that it is true. That does not diminish anyone else, and that does not mean that you should suddenly change how you treat people, especially if you're already being nice to them. You should keep doing that. If you're being mean to them, maybe you should change it, but that's a whole other topic. But when you start to have the idea, and this is an implantation, a seed of a thought here, when you start to have the idea that everything around you, people and all of that, are reflecting how you feel about yourself, and you start to pay attention to the things that happen, it becomes more and more difficult to argue with that concept. And that's what I want to share with you, Buddhas. The reason you're watching this video is because your subconscious mind is delivering it to you at this exact moment. The reason I'm making this video now is to do that service for you. And in turn, because I'm on a path of creation and helping along with this understanding process, that is my goal and my intention for the world, to bring 1 billion Buddhas back to being. And I am of the thought, and I could be entirely wrong here, but I am very much of the thought that when you start to look at the world as that reflection, without diminishing anyone, but just to appreciate that it's reflecting already how you're feeling about you, then the signs and synchronicities become undeniable. The way that you start to respond to people changes. You will no longer be as triggered or as upset by the comments that people make, because you'll understand that when someone says a snippy comment at you for something you were saying, that it's not them that's snipping at you. It's your own subconscious that's pointing out something to you. And when you can reflect on that and take in what was just said objectively without emotionally reacting, that's when you are consciously creating and consciously understanding your reality and your universe. Whatever the heck you want to call this, I'm still not entirely sure who, what, where, when, or why it is, but it's turning out to be a hell of a lot of fun, Buddhas. I absolutely love sharing this with you. I love sharing the love with you, and some of these messages that come out are starting to absolutely blow my mind. And Buddhas, I just wanted to remind you at the end here that regardless of what you believe or perceive or understand, the most important thing, in my humble opinion, is to love yourself. Because, I mean, if you're loving yourself, then the world reflected back to you is just going to be a lot of love, isn't it?